Joining me now is Matt Norlander, CBS Sports senior writer who has been covering college basketball for the network for the past 14 seasons. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you. So let's start by jumping in on this topic. So UConn has won back-to-back titles, winning all 12 of its NCAA tournament games over the past 2 years by at least 13 points. Where do you rank this team amongst the all-time best?
Well, this specific team, I think ranks among the 10 to 15 best teams I think we've ever seen. And that's backed up by the fact that what you just mentioned, this season, this tournament, they won by a combined 140 points over 6 games, which is a record. No team has ever won 6 NCAA tournament games by that wide of a margin. And when you consider what this group did after last year's team, like together, UConn as a program right now is going through really one of the best runs we've seen in 45, 50 years, basically since John Wooden at UCLA. But for this team to come back after losing 5 of its top 8 scorers from a year ago and be even better, get a #1 overall seed. Last year's team that won the title was a #4 seed and then had an amazing tournament run. This team showed little sign of ever not being incredibly awesome. And so I think it is fair to say, even though it did not have a superstar player, it had a very, very, very good starting 5. And I think you're going to see a lot of those guys in the NBA for a long time. The data is in. What we saw was undeniable. Dan Hurley coached, in my opinion, one of the 10 to 15 best teams that we have seen since the 70s.
After UConn won its latest title, you wrote, quote, "There is Connecticut, then there is a massive gap, and then there is everyone else." How have Dan Hurley and the Huskies created such a competitive gap?
With a truly incredible culture, Dan Hurley, he holds his players accountable to a level that I think is rare in men's college basketball. He does not sugarcoat the recruiting process, and if you want to go play for him, he's actually said this more. He has said this in recent years to me, kind of one-on-one, and now I've seen him drop this reference in multiple interviews lately, where he said, "Listen, if you're coming to store." We're not a major metropolis. You are coming here because you are serious about your college career and about getting to the next level and playing in the NBA. And he has been able to hold his players to account. They buy in. They have a very similar mindset, and that is just outright commitment to the cause. And Hurley lives and breathes it. I'm telling you, every day. After they get done with the New York Stock Exchange stuff today, and when they're heading back to campus later on, Hurley will be as engaged with his program, his team, roster building, as he was the night before the national championship game. He does not have an off switch, for better or for worse, and is why he is elevated to, in my opinion, the appropriate title and status of the best coach running the best program in all of college basketball.
You know, Matt, you also wrote that a dynasty in modern college basketball starts and likely ends with 2 championships in a row. What makes a three-peat especially challenging in today's era?
Because there are so many changes that come with the roster. So you're referencing my title game column, and I appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much. Once upon a time, John Wooden had a UCLA team that was able to peel off 5, 6 championships in a row, but that was the outlier. And in the past 4 decades here, we saw Florida win back-to-back championships in 06, 07. We saw Duke win back-to-back in 91, 92. And then prior to that, the most recent instance of it happening was UCLA. So winning back-to-back championships at the men's college level, that is dynastic. To expect a team to win 3 in a row is just expecting way too much. Now, Hurley and that program are going to try and do it, but he's going to lose so many key players off this roster. Donovan Clingan, Stephon Castle, they're going to be lottery picks. Tristan Newton, Cam Spencer, probably going to be drafted into the 2nd round. Alex Caravan has some real NBA looks as well. So to ask a coach and a program to go 3 years in a row winning the NCAA tournament, which is a crapshoot, even if you're a 1 seed every year, it's a monumental task. I'm not going to say UConn can't do it. I'm saying we haven't seen someone do it since literally John Wooden, the greatest coach in the history of the sport. And with a whole new roster coming in, it will be a massive challenge, but a challenge nonetheless that Dan Hurley will eagerly undertake, and he is already underway here working the transfer portal to beef up that roster.
And an interesting one at that. We're all going to have to tune in to see what happens. Thank you so much, Matt, for joining me.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.